Now, speaking of Activision becoming a part of Xbox, the boss of Blizzard has insisted Diablo 4 will not come to Game Pass amid rumors the action role-playing game is set to hit Microsoft's subscription service. Responding to a tweet that mentioned Diablo 4's availability in Xbox Game Pass, Blizzard president Mike Ibarra said plainly, "This is not happening." That's a definitive-sounding statement, but it hasn't stopped some fans from wondering whether Diablo 4 will eventually come to Game Pass if Microsoft's proposed $69 billion buyout of Activision Blizzard goes through, which is seeming more and more likely. During the FTC trial, Activision Blizzard boss Bobby Kotick admitted he's not a fan of multi-game subscription services, hence why Activision games have largely failed to appear on them. If the acquisition happens, Kotick acknowledged he'll be stuck with Game Pass whether he likes it or not. He said, "I don't agree with the idea of a multi-game subscription service as a business proposition going forward, but we, Activision and Microsoft, can agree to disagree." And finally today, as Diablo 4 nears the launch of Season 1, players are working through the endgame, hitting the level cap, and completing some of the game's toughest challenges. But for some, that is not enough. For some, the ultimate challenge is hitting enemies for billions of points of damage just 5 weeks after launch. Last week, Diablo 4 streamer Moxie hit the highest damage ever in a game. 957,957,504 hit points. But it didn't take long for Moxie to break through the billion barrier with an incredible 1.8 billion point hit. Since then, a Diablo 4 YouTuber called EchoHack posted a screenshot showing a 2.1 billion hit. These astronomical damage numbers are beyond what the vast majority of Diablo 4 characters are currently capable of, and make the game's toughest elite enemies evaporate in the blink of an eye. So, what's going on here? Moxie is using a druid werewolf build dubbed Lightning Shred 2.0 that lets the character infinitely teleport to enemies and make them vulnerable. It's worth pointing out the importance of the Stormclaw aspect of this build. This deals additional lightning damage to the target and surrounding enemies on critical strikes with the Shred skill. Stormclaw scales the lightning damage in a way that appears beyond the boundaries Diablo 4 has established via what's called double dip damage. With hits in the billions now hitting the headlines, all eyes would be on Blizzard to see if it considers this sort of damage output expected gameplay or broken in a way that requires a nerf or change that limits double dip damage. Meanwhile, Diablo 4 players are enjoying watching the race to 3 billion damage. And that was your daily fix for Tuesday, July